Just 4 seconds left in the first quarter. Knocks it down from distance.
I guess Towns got a little bit of point guard in it. The big fella with a beautiful dime right there.
And at the end of... And this has been a fairly close game through the first quarter. We'll see what happens here in the second. And what do you guys think about the visitors here in this one?
Well, what I love is the tremendous belief in their bench. They were looking for points, and their reserves delivered.
And, you know, when the bench is playing such a big role early, that certainly allows the starters to stay fresh throughout the game.
Here's Halliburton. 5 points in the game. No good from outside. Pass to Doncic. Takes a three. That shot missing. Here's Towns. Oh my! Throw it down!
Towns with the creativity and explosiveness.
And the term Renaissance man, perhaps a little overused, BA, but for Karl Anthony Towns, it's probably appropriate. He was a great student, he taught himself to play the piano, and has had a voice on many social issues.
You know, even though they have the lead, you can tell he's frustrated with himself that he's not doing more.
Going inside. Rebounded by Halliburton. And Towns also active in the community. By all accounts, a very caring person. But Grant, some have hinted that they think he's too nice. What do you make of that?
I don't have a real issue with that. They said he prefers being positive, but in this league, we know you also have to have a little dog in you as well to excel. I think he has that. He'll continue to get there, I'm sure.
No good on the triple.
Not much falling for him this quarter, guys, and you can sense his frustration.
Making sure of it with the two-hand slam, BA.
Yeah, I don't blame him. With the score this tight, you cannot take a chance here.
I get the feeling, guys, that he may be sensing that this is a critical time in this game.
And there's just so much variety to Beal's game. I mean, he's great off the catch and in transition. And right there, making a play off the bounce.
First one falls for him. And so he hits both.
It's not luck that he's so steady at the line. It's through repetition and hard work.
2 minutes now played in the second quarter. Driving to the basket. Yep, that one goes. Give him 8 points now.
Put your head down and go to work. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, these teams trading punches right now. I mean, it's table tennis. Back and forth we go.
Towns with a rebound. For three, here's Lillard. Hits a three-pointer. Lillard's got his first 3 points of the game.
What's incredible, he doesn't need much space to let it fly. Lillard's shooting touch does wonders for his team spacing.
Outside Love. Here's the three. On target from range.
Boy, it sure is a lot of fun watching Love bury these outside shots. I mean, when he's hitting from deep, it opens up things for everybody.
Tried to answer back, but that three is off the mark.
Well, it looks like he's cooled down a bit after hitting those two in the first quarter.
And it's rebounded by Karl Anthony Towns. And Lillard, here we go. And the dunk by Lillard.
Boy, I love watching Lillard turn on the Jets using that astounding speed to blaze past the defenders.
And Beal launches from deep. Karl Anthony Towns comes up with a rebound.
He didn't make them pay for that weak defense, but they just can't rely on him to miss those kind of shots.
And it's Lillard with the three. Lillard's got 8 points here in the quarter.
I guess Towns got a little bit of point guard in him. The big fella with a beautiful dime right there. Hey, you know, I like the competitive spirit, but when you look at it, I think he rushed that three a little bit because he was trying to get back at his opponent.
56 seconds left to play in the first half. Towns with a rebound. Oubre with a steal. From deep three-point range. From beyond the arc and then some. Oubre's gotten himself on the board with a three there. Oh, and he got fouled on his way up. He'll head to the line to shoot two.
Pistol Pete, oozing with natural talent, but behind the scenes, he puts in a lot of work too.
So both teams changing it up here. "34 seconds left in the second period. Levine can't hit. And a miss there on the triple. From deep. An absolute bomb from three-point range.
Beautiful pull-up by Levine. On balance, under control, developing a better feel for this particular shot.
That'll count. Ooh, he released it in time, but it's off the mark. And we're through the first half of play here in what's been a good one. Up by 2. And we've got more NBA action on 2K Sports coming your way after the break. And if you're just joining us, we've played through the first half in a game that's been fairly even so far. They've been behind for a few minutes now.
And I think that's about to change.
Pass to Love. For the lead. Fires in the triple. Love's got 6 points.
Man, they're having a hard time defending the triple. That's 3 in a row.
I think they're playing too soft on the perimeter. They can't stay so soft. They've got to get up into the shooters here.
Lillard outside.
Not the best pass, guys, and the defense took full advantage.
Man, showing some terrific range.
Not sure what the defense was thinking. I mean, you can't leave this guy open from deep.
For 3, here's Lillard. Nails it from 3. 11 points in the game.
That's how you up the ante. Come right back at him.
A little back and forth from long range. I love it. That's a terrific answer there.
From 12 feet. And it's off the back of the rim. No good. Second half of basketball. Just over a minute played so far. Now Green. Looking for his first basket, still in this one. Drills it from deep.
And, you know, for a big man, I think Green is one of the better dime droppers in the league. I mean, he's a true point forward who has excellent vision and sees the floor well.
Lillard up top. 11 points in the game. Oh, and the jam by Lillard.
Oh, wow. Dame just sticking it to the other team, and you can see it's motivating his squad as well.
And it's Towns with the power finish.
And a good call. Towns, one of the best in the league with the catch and flush.
Here's Cousins. Will not go. Misses off the front iron. Green for 3. Good. And it's Lillard who picks up the assist. Green's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Here's Levine. Shot to stop the run. Sinks the tray.
And that's on the defense, giving him a decent look. That's his shot. coach no doubt wants to use this timeout to review the matchups and maybe make some adjustments as well.
And I agree. I think there's going to be a new wrinkle in their game plan when they come out of this timeout.
And finished off by Kleba.
Credit them for making the right halftime adjustments.
You know, they came out of the locker room, revved up the gas pedal, and haven't slowed down yet.
For three, Allen. The shot, no good. Third quarter here, and 3 minutes have come off the clock. Over to the wing. Takes the three. Gets the three ball to go. 9 points in the game.
I just love the ball move.
Here's Towns. And it's Towns with the power finish.
And no help on that one. Towns, long stride. And all the way to the rack. Way to go, big fella.
To the middle. Oh, it's stolen by Towns. Oh, it's stolen by Doncic. Towns with a rebound.
Got to move past that one. I mean, they'd want him to take that again.
Well, you know, I hear you. That's a good look, but when you're that wide open, I think you got to knock it down.
You know, not the smartest play a defender can make there.
Yeah, unnecessary. I mean, make them earn those points from deep. Don't give them to them free at the line.
And he makes all three. Here's Doncic. Well, he hasn't scored yet, but I'm sure that'll change. 1:14 left in the third. That three's off the mark.
We know how good a shooter he is. It's frustrating for him when he's not able to knock down that kind of wide open look.
Here's Toppin. And there's the slam dunk to finish it off.
He's undersized for a 4, but his hops level the playing field.
Doncic outside. Pass to Kleba. Back to Doncic. From behind the arc. Drops in the three.
Boy, shots like this prove Doncic has the ability to be a major threat from there. Expanding his game.
Mitchell with the ball. .27 seconds left in the third. Clock at 6. Towns for three. Sinks it. What range from downtown. Towns has got 5 points now this quarter.
The three-point shooting has been on point here in the second half.
Exactly what the doctor ordered. Those three-point bombs will erase the deficit quickly if they can keep it up.
And he's going to the line for two. The official saw contact while he was going up. It'll go on Maxi Kleba.
Showing determination inside. Towns absorbs the contact and gets the whistle.
He hits the second from the line. Got a piece of it. And at the close of the third quarter, still a close game. Both teams putting up points. We've reached the fourth quarter in what has been a very competitive game. Should be an exciting finish. And here's Lillard. Towns up top. Back to Lillard. He takes it in. And there's a whistle. He'll head to the line to shoot two.
Lillard is really a force of nature. I mean, an incredible talent who torches just about everybody with his scoring ability.
And both free throws good for Lillard. So it's the home team now, trailing by 5. Now here's Mitchell. And there's the call on Karl Anthony Towns. That'll get him his 4th foul of the game.
That foul gives him 4, so he's got to settle down a bit.
Let's go with a 3. Hits the trifecta.
Gotta fight harder to get over those screens.
Well, I'm going to credit the screen. I mean, that's a good, strong pick he lays there.
The three, Allen. And it's rebounded by Karl Anthony Towns.
And the defense got away with one there. I mean, that's a shot he typically makes.
Karl Anthony Towns comes up with a rebound. Just over a minute played here in the fourth. And Allen gets it to go.
Allen is lights out as a three-point shooter. Love how fast his release is. Staple gun quick.
Towns on a screen. Out to Lillard. Takes it inside.
Good offense beats good defense? Not always.
Just over a minute and a half played here in the fourth. Allen can't get it to go. Jacks up a three. Knocks down the long K.
They are shooting the lights out and doing a good job of maintaining this lead.
Not many empty trips for this group. It seems everything's falling for him this half.
Toppin shot is off. Towns with the ball. Towns covering. Ooh, poked away. Ooh, stolen by Allen. And rejected. 4-3. They grab their own miss. Lillard outside. The ball's knocked loose. 5 to shoot. Just over 2.5 minutes played now. Final quarter of regulation. And Allen gets it to go.
And Scottie Pippen's so good at surveying the floor. Like seeing him find the open man with those sweet dishes.
Over 2.5 minutes in the books here in the fourth. Doncic up top. Outside, Green. Off target from three-point range. Beal outside. Here's the break. Cousins with it. Towns covering. To the wing on the left. And there's the foul. It's on Zach LaVine. That's his first foul.
I love great defense. Just quick to establish his feet, and he takes the hit.
And not afraid to put his body on the line either. He took a shot for the team in that situation.
To the paint. Here's Green.
His playmaking is something to watch. Threading that pass right in there.
When you're casual with the ball, it can come back to bite you.
Yeah, B.A. Playing loose can help you and hurt you. They really need to tighten it up. Come on, guys. Check out the tenacity. There's no back down in this fella whatsoever.
And it's Doncic on the drive. Oh! What a hammer!
Oh, man! Luka flying to the rim and putting it on top of the defender's head.
To the inside. Cousins. And so he draws the foul, headed to the line to shoot a pair.
Exactly. The defense determined not to allow the easy layup right there. They'll settle for making him earn the free throw.
A perfect trip to the line narrows the gap.
Here's Lillard. Pass to Green. There's the triple. Pure from three-point range.
can't give those openings defensively, he'll just keep exploiting them.
Right side, Levine. Towns with a rebound.
It's not getting much easier than that, but somehow he came up empty there.
And we've got 28 seconds left in the fourth quarter here.
Each and every day. Of course, also be sure to give this video a thumbs up. So let's just talk about the injury situation. We can start in many places. Let's start in Cleveland. What are you looking at in terms of Cleveland? News got over our premium site count saying Chris Fodor saying here in the Cavs will start Matthew, Isaac, Dean Wade, Kevin Love, and Isaiah. I mean, if you're talking Garland, Sexton, Nance, Whittler, and Allen are all out tonight. As I look at my sheet here, so that would be your top four salaries for the Cavs on DraftKings.
Yep. Top four. I mean, Delhi's got to be near the top there. Chetty, Thomas. I like Hartenstein even 5,200 on DK. Don't mind that. FanDuel is just kind of a disaster for the most part. I mean, I hate having exposure to early games like this because if you basically overexpose yourself to no news. Like you can't make pivots out of these guys, and we know it's just such a good spot. And the Pelicans play at one of the fastest paces in the league, and they're terrible defensively, and it's just really hard. Sorry, the defensive efficiency that they're top three worst in the league. So I'm trying to figure out a way I'm going to get to as much. I mean, Delhi's kind of the priority, I think. I would like to see Dotson out as well, and I know we'll probably get that news ahead of time here. I mean, even just like 10, 12 minutes, that can matter a big bunch to just his minutes allotment. Let's see, he hasn't played 1, 2, 3, 4. He has missed the last 5 now for Cleveland. Played 15 minutes against Utah, 23 against Sacramento. I mean, Dotson would kind of be the intriguing guy to go to at 3K on DraftKings. You could take some shots on that as well. I would really, really like to see that news come through for Dellavedova, and we'll see. And we also got news, because I've been tracking a lot of the Toronto situation. I think Kyle Lowry is probably going to play now.
Yeah, I know when I was doing a crunch a little while ago before all this Cleveland news came in, Hartenstein was a guy that was coming up a ton for me. The Zion situation, one of the notes I just was kind of writing down right before we got on here is potential blowout situation and how should that affect how much exposure we want to get to Zion.
I love Zion Williamson. You're asking the wrong guy because I, by default, just jam Zion in without even thinking about it. It's kind of just a reckless habit of mine to just overexpose myself to him in every single slate. So 9,400 on DK, I'm not shied away by it. 9,700 on FanDuel's kind of been where we've been at. You've been paying the full price over there for a while now, and he's been worth it a lot. So I can't really say anything about it. I think at 9,400, he's still somebody who's kind of a priority for me. I mean, I don't expect 68 every single time out, but I mean, look at his usage there. 41.2% usage against Philly in that last game. 35 minutes. I mean, he is efficient. He's starting to rebound. He's starting to get some of that double-double rebound upside, which I really like to see from him. I was kind of hoping to see his rebound rates start to come up as the year was progressing. That's kind of the really big detriment to paying 9,400 for him because he does everything else so efficiently, so well, and one of the most consistent guys that you're paying up for every single night out. There are no floors with him, it seems like.
By the way, news coming in, news got putting out there, Kyle Lowry is now probable to play for the Raptors.
Okay, yeah, news guy's on top of it. We were having some fun in chat a little bit before the show. It was good times. Good times were had by all.
I was sitting here in my office, and
just twiddling your thumbs. Just nothing's happening.
No, I had to, because I had to laugh when someone's basically commenting about the Clipper situation. You're on the show. We're just waiting for the Paul George's out news.
That's not funny. See, you guys. So I mean, now you're jumping in on the joke. That makes it even worse. That makes me feel like, wow, Jason, we were just building rapport here. Show number 2. Come
there
on.
was something you had the other day on I forget who was ruled out the last bit, and I saw it on your Twitter handle before I could change my lineups. I forget what was the other day. I was like, well, I'm not going to check my scores anymore. Like, absolutely.
NBA this time of year is already pretty accentuated. It's absurd. There's a lot of crazy things that are happening. I think it's especially more so this year. I think we've had some fun up and down couple months, more ups than downs, fortunately. But yeah, the Paul George news. I think that's forever going to be kind of my calling card here at Awesome Mo. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to live that one down because I think everybody watched my soul leave my body during that show.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, obviously, the Clipper situation with no Kawhi Leonard, it becomes Paul George season.
Yeah.
It's a smash spot. I will tell you, the guy that I'm looking at the Clippers, and obviously we're going to have to wait as the night unfolds, is potentially looking at Terrence Mann at 4,900 on DraftKings.
Yeah, see, so I was really, really high on Terrence Mann the other night, and then I kind of came off of him a little bit because he wasn't starting, and he still ended up playing 35 and a half minutes. So that was kind of an oopsie in that perspective. I just like this guy. He's somebody that I've been playing a lot. I started to see that he was entering that rotation more and more, and nobody was really kind of catching on to it. In the middle of March, he started playing 13 minutes kind of out of the middle of nowhere, and then started to piece some games together. Him and Kennard kind of played well, specifically that Atlanta game where they basically went out in the second unit and won that game. And it's just kind of been, he's kind of, Tyler Blue has been talking about how he's just kind of like earned a spot in that rotation. And, you take Kawhi off the floor here. I don't expect him to ever be a crazy high usage guy. We've seen a couple of 20% plus games, but, 10.5% last time out for his usage and still put up 40.25. 3 stocks, 9 assists, 16 points. Like, he is just a good basketball player that I like a lot. I think he's an important piece off that bench. So I'm not going to be too scared off the way that I was last time. I think he was especially in play that last slate on FanDuel. Now that he's 5,100 up there, I don't have to go as nuts, but 4,900 on DK. Him and Kennard are still pieces I want to get on this slate.
And even if it is a blowout situation, you have to imagine that Man's still going to get the minutes. The rest other guys, of course, on the other side of that game, Jeremy Grant has been ruled out. Killian Hayes is out. Dennis Smith Jr., I believe the term was questionable on him. When I look at that Pistons, and I know EMAC basically had a lineup, nothing interests me on the Detroit side of the equation.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I mean, you kind of have to with Jeremy Grant out though. I mean, it's not a great spot for them by any means. But let me just kind of get to a little bit of my Detroit stuff. I mean, we just had so much news that we were kind of waiting on. I think the Kyle Lowry is a big piece that I'm going to get to a lot here at this point in time. But yeah, they've got enough bodies there. Even Dennis Smith Jr. out there. Corey Joseph isn't somebody who excites me that much. I think Josh Jackson on FanDuel at 4,500 makes a lot of sense. I think he's going about appropriately on there at the moment. But yeah, I can't really advise for that here at the moment without seeing one. You got to get Dennis Smith Jr. out as well. But it's just such a bad spot against the Clippers that it's not a position like we had Isaiah Stewart at 3,700 on FanDuel 2 slates ago. Now he's up to 5,200. There's just no point there. Sadiq Bey is shooting dependent now at 5,300 on FanDuel as well. Going to the DK side, just nobody other than like Corey Joseph would really intrigue me that much. If Dennis Smith were to get ruled in at 3,500, you could take some shots, but you don't really need to now on this slate. I think there's enough other places to go, and I hate to say it, but like Cleveland is just in a better place early in the slate. You do lose the swappability, should I call it, but man, it's going to be hard for me not to be clicking Dellavedova today.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the ownership over on Detroit aspect, Corey Joseph and Dennis Smith Jr. are the only two that are really seeing any type of ownership over there if you want to go there. We also got the Milwaukee news in a little while ago. Giannis is out, everyone else is in, and apparently everyone just wants to play Bobby Portis. I'm going to be under the field on Bobby Portis. I don't want to go that high on him.
So the reason that you wouldn't do it is he just burned the entire universe the other night at 65% ownership. Like he just burned everybody on the planet. But I don't know. I'm very curious because I'm looking at this now. We haven't gotten an updated ownership over here on FanDuel. I keep refreshing it, and it's not popping up right now.
We got one 3 minutes ago.
We got one 3 minutes? Okay. I'm just kind of waiting for that to come through. And there it is. So what's Bobby Portis at on FanDuel now is really the question. 28.2%. Yeah, I want over that. I want over that. And I understand the apprehension because, again, he did just get done burning everybody. But him put into that starting lineup, he still didn't perform that bad for the salary. It was just a slate where you had so much other value that went off. And I think that can kind of get people to deter. Like McDaniels went off. You had Miles Bridges, who was an important piece of that slate too. Guys in that Charlotte side ended up outperforming Portis, and that became an issue if you were eating the heavy chalk there. Well, he's not going to be heavy chalk today. I mean, he's chalky underneath 30%, but the opportunities there. We're also adding a bunch of other pieces. I'm always curious because like a guy like Drew Holiday, who's going to create easy buckets for him in that spot. I don't really want to be playing Drew Holiday up at 8,200 on DraftKings today. But I think that he definitely adds some viability for Portis, maybe creates a couple of easier buckets for him here and there, opens up the floor. Like, before it was basically, let's stop Bobby Portis and what are we going to do? Jordan Nwora is going to beat us? No, that wasn't necessarily going to be the thing. So I really do like getting to a little bit more Bobby Portis than the field today because I think that number would be significantly higher had we just seen a little bit better performance out of him last time out.
So unless my iPad has an update here. Over on FanDuel, I'm seeing 42% for Portis.
Oh, I did not have that.
Now the DraftKings was at 28.
Okay, then I had those flip-flop. I don't know why the FanDuel one is not updating for me right now. I have the filter. There it is. There it is. Okay, so we are looking at sort 42%. Yeah, that makes way more sense. I think that's about appropriate. I mean, that's kind of where I was coming in at. And for somebody like that, I feel just fine going to him at 5,800 over there. That's kind of going to be an easy plug and play. Power forward, I mean, Zion is obviously another piece that I want to get to. Isaiah Hartenstein, I mean, I think it's just very, very top heavy. I think it's kind of appropriate. You're seeing the three positions up top there be condensed because it just gets really, really thin. I think Porzingis is very, very interesting as somebody to be going overweight as a pivot to. We've seen that ceiling. We've seen him put up over 44 in what? 6 of the last 7. 6 of the last 8. So I'm pretty excited to be a little bit overweight to him there. But being about the field on Portis, I really don't have a gauge for being over or under at that number. I would have definitely been over on 28 from the last run, but 28.2 over on DK. I think that probably is about right at 6,300, but 5,800, yeah, I'm going to be right at the field and kind of move on and try to differentiate elsewhere.
You mentioned about Hartenstein, and I know there was a comment in chat, and I kind of have the same thought. Potentially Zion getting him in early foul trouble, and those amount of minutes he's on the court is dwindling.
Yeah. Yes and no. I could see that. That's fine, but the problem is he's also under 6K, and we've seen some crazy good production from him of late. We've seen just some nice rebounding totals from him there. Starting to get assists involved too. 6 assists his last 2. I don't know. I still think 5,600 is just too low of a number on him. I would want to see that come up a little bit more before I would be shying off. But I mean, he's grading out still 26 minutes. He's been productive as a per minute player. Just close to 1.2 over on FanDuel for the season. That's some solid production. I think if you start shying away from guys for foul trouble and it doesn't involve Joel Embiid like we saw for Robert Williams the other night, you're kind of playing a little bit of a hairy game there. I don't really want to be going that direction and trying to like get off of a guy purely because, you know, what if in that situation? Yeah, he might get in foul trouble there, but that's not something I try to go too nuts about.
We mentioned earlier about the Masters, and of course today is the last day for our golf promo that we have going on. Use that promo code Dustin to get 2 months of Also Plus Golf for the price of 1. That is $29.95. 60 days of Also Plus Golf. All of our team here does a great job helping you out, get you to put your golf lives together. And of course, if golf is not your thing, you can get Also Plus Platinum Weekly Pass for $29.95. Gives you access to all these sports coverage we have here at Osmo.com. You see it there on the screen. Of course, you can always check out Osmo.com/promos for all the promos that are going over at the site. I mentioned about Hartenstein was someone who was coming up a lot for me in crunches.
The other one, as a Magic fan, I don't feel good about this at all. Mo Bamba, coming up a ton.
Yeah. He was coming up earlier for me until I decided that, I'd come to my senses a little bit, but 4,500 on DK, it's just a low number. I think looking at that center position, it's really kind of like Jonas that you really want to be focused on, and then Mohamed Bamba, yeah, I like him. Problem is you're just never going to see, I don't even know how you'd go about like figuring out what his minutes allotment, like 20 is what Alex has him in for, and he's already going to grade out fantastically well at a 1.2 DraftKings points per minute player on the season. So like I was getting like 65% of my first couple runs before I capped him. I don't know. I think there's just a little bit too wide of a range of outcomes there to ignore him completely. I think he's getting about appropriately owned from where he's at there. And if you were to see 25 minutes, I think you're going to definitely be wanting him there. But there is a minutes floor that exists, and he's somebody who had a left hip contusion. They're probably not going to have any reason to like be pushing him past the 20-minute mark. So I'm probably going to be a tiny bit lower than what the field is there. I understand wanting to get to a bunch, and again, if I were just crunching this straight out without capping him, I would be getting a crazy amount. But because you have Isaiah Hartenstein, because I am so high on Jonas today, who's going a little bit lower owned, I think just kind of makes more sense for me from a tournament perspective, coming in just under 20%. I'm kind of going that direction with center, and then Isaiah Hartenstein as well over there. 5,200 is just too cheap.
And we already do have the Magic starters in. It'll be Wendell Carter Jr., James Ennis, Carter Williams, Dwayne Bacon, and Gary Harris as a part of that. And I saw the note from the Magic PR Twitter account. This is their 25th different starting lineup this year.
It's outrageous. That's not good times. That's not good times.
Team record is 28. I'm just gonna.
Are you a Magic fan? You're a Magic fan, right?
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, yes, I'm a Magic fan. It's very rough to watch them play basketball at this point. I guess we're just the process 2.0. Which look, I don't mind. I did not mind them blowing it up and saying we're just gonna start over. We're gonna compile draft picks, and we're gonna hope our scouting department knows how to draft players, which hasn't necessarily been the case.
No.
Yep. Some good.
I hear you. From Magic fan to Timberwolves fan, right there with you. Also, freaking Twins, man. Like, why? Whatever. It's just torture sometimes. Buxton's just out of his mind. We have Cologne go in there and blow another one. It's just brutal. It's just a brutal, like, Minnesota sports fan. Anywho, back to basketball we go. Happy things.
I would tell you this. Anytime the Magic drafts an international player, I'm like, oh, man, this guy's never going to play for the Magic.
Yeah. Well, Bruce is pretty good.
Well, that was a trade.
I know, but
it's just it's the unfortunate part. I mean, look, when I look at this Magic team, the question is, you got some value there. I mean, do you want to get to a 3,800 Gary Harris?
No, I really don't. That sounds like pain and suffering. I think I would much rather be going the James Ennis route if I were to go anywhere. Terrence Ross has the ceiling that we've kind of been starting to look for from him. He is starting to embrace a little bit of the I am the captain now, but hasn't gotten over 30. So we got to 34 minutes against New Orleans, played the last couple as well, been capped basically around 30 minutes. They have other guys that they're basically giving run. Now you add Gary Harris to the fray for stuff. It's just pretty darn gross. He did play decently well. Gary Harris did have a 31% usage that first game that he debuted against Indiana, so let that be known. But 3,800 with so many other guys there, I'm just going to have to pass.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to really look at someone on the Magic, I might look at Terrence Ross, just the way the Bucks play defense, and if he can catch fire from three-pointer, that may be the one guy that I'd want to take a little dart at in tournament place.
Yeah, but I mean, Mo Bamba on DK makes a lot of sense too. So I'm not poo-pooing that by any means, but I think that there's other directions that I'm going to go with my 200 minus on DK today.
In terms of a player that just went off last night, Gary Trent Jr., what is your thoughts? I mean, obviously we're waiting on the news on the Raptors. We do know Van Fleet is out. We do know OG is out. All signs point to that we're going to get Kyle Lowry in. I mean, look, you're not going to get 44 points out of Gary Trent Jr. I mean, that's not likely. But how are you developing this Raptors team tonight?
I mean, it's Kyle Lowry on FanDuel. I mean, that's going to kind of be where I'm going to be going to a bunch here. 6,300. I got to assume that if he's playing, that he's going to be somewhat. Yeah, they're not going to play Kyle Lowry until he's like ready to go. They held on to him. They're not going to be pushing it by any means there. If you just even plug him in for the 30 minutes that Osmo has him for, with I think they're being upside for more, he just grades out phenomenally well. I think on DK, now everybody becomes about appropriately priced for the situation, bringing Kyle Lowry back in. Bembry's 3,800. You could maybe take some shots on that still. Boucher's now up to what, 6,800 over there, so that's going to be a pass for me as well. But Siakam was going to be interesting if you got Lowry out of there, even at 8,900 over on FanDuel. Now you really don't have to go there, and I think just being able to eat some of that chocolate Portis, Hartenstein, and Zion and getting different elsewhere, it's just going to make a lot more sense for my builds. Gary Trent I like. I mean, you just take away so many more shots now. You're getting all those guys back, and now Kyle Lowry's back, and it's going to be hard for me to imagine that he's going to see the same usage, that he's going to see a 28.4% usage rate, that he's going to get the amount of looks. He had 19 field goal attempts. What's 17 for 19? 7 for 9. I mean, that's just like efficiency to the max. No Gary Trent for me today.
What's your thoughts on Pascal Siakam? 8,800 on DK, 8,900 over on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think if you get Kyle Lowry out, that would make a lot more sense. I think if you're playing two power forwards, you're trying to get different in a tournament on FanDuel. 8,900, he's still got the ceiling there. I think he probably grades out as one of the better plays on DK, but I just don't think DK I'm going to be getting to any Raptors now. I just don't think that there's the need. You add Kyle Lowry, and that really kind of caps a lot of those guys. So I'm definitely not going to be going there. And I wouldn't like see somebody's lineup in a tournament and be like, oh, I can't believe he played Pascal Siakam. I can't believe he played Chris Boucher. We know the kind of ceiling he has, but just not going to be me today.
On the other side of that game with the Knicks, of course, it all starts with Julius Randle, 9,800 on DraftKings, 9,500 over on FanDuel.
Who is that again? Sorry.
Julius Randle.
Yeah, I mean it's Julius Randle. We know he has the kind of ceiling that he does. I can't really go there today. I think the opportunity cost of power forward because you have Portis. I mean, you're looking at most of the highest owned players on the entire slate on FanDuel at the power forward position in Portis and Hartenstein, and Zion Williamson is one of so 3 of the top 10 owned players are all at the power forward position, and they're going to grade out so much better than Randle. And I get it, we have seen a crazy ceiling, but now you also add Derrick Rose back in there. Like I can't get myself to be firing that up today. I think Derrick Rose just adds enough there that it takes a little bit off the top of Randle. So if I'm going to be paying the higher price for it, I'm just going to take the better spot, more security with Zion, and be overweight there.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be overweight in the field in terms of Zion, but I do small concern about potential blowout situation there.
But here's the thing. So blowout, I've been seeing that a lot with everybody. That line opened at 6.5, which I thought was a little low as it is. It's moved up to 9 now. Like it's rated 9.5. No, I don't even see a 9.5 on the board. Just flat out 9. So the totals come down a little bit, but like we've seen bigger totals than that. I mean, you look at the Clippers game. We have interest in Paul George. We're talking about him. That's at 13 right now. I get 9 points on the road. I don't know. I'm not that concerned about it. Maybe I should be more, but I'm just kind of not. And the game should be a pace-up spot enough for the Cleveland side of it. And then for New Orleans, we just kind of know where all that production comes from when they get healthy, and it's going to come through Zion. So I really like staying still on that and being over the field. So I don't really have those concerns.
And one of the things I love about Zion, especially with no Lonzo Ball, is you're going to see him taking the ball up the court more and more. This is something that when you watch the Pelicans play, this happens a lot. And typically, when I see that happen, my first thought is, okay, everyone's just cleared out, and Zion's going to make his run to the rim. I mean, that's what the Pelicans' offense sometimes becomes when you see Zion walking up the court with the ball.
Yeah. Oh my God, is this literally a 2-shot event now? What did Hideki do on? Did he make a mess? He made bogey on 15? Oh, Hideki. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is terrifying. Don't do this to me. I like X-Man though. I do like Xander. Let it be known. Oh, I just see people in chat. Yeah, Hideki got this in the bag. What? All right. I'm gonna just have to turn that off. We're just going off. This is an NBA show. I must give everybody the good advice. I will take the bullet for this. I will not be watching those final 30 minutes. Oh, that's crazy.
Latest injury news in from News God. Dotson has been ruled out.
That's fantastic. Good. That is really, really good news for anybody who wanted to jam a bunch of deli, which I didn't want to do anyway, but here we are. Welcome to NBA DFS in April, where Matthew Dellavedova is a smash. Here we are. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll mention a question we got over in our Slack account. I know we kind of touched on this a little bit, but Swanson, I'm guessing, didn't hear it. Saying, is Mo Bamba a smash on both DraftKings and FanDuel?
So now we bring in the other side where, yeah, 5K on FanDuel. I don't hate it. For me, I just want to see, he's coming in with the most ownership at the position for a guy who's going to be getting 20 minutes. And I understand the rates are great, and I understand that there's like a minutes upside that exists there. If you were to get to 25 minutes, I would really kick myself. But man, I just feel like going overweight to Jonas gives me just so much more access to not only ceiling, but there's like a sense of security that I feel about that. I don't know. I feel like Mohamed Bamba at 20 minutes that I have him for right now is just somebody that I'm not going to get to where the field is, that I kind of want to make my stands going other directions, like going to Vooch, going to Karl Anthony Towns, going to some of these other spend-up centers who bring a crazy ceiling. And because you don't have two positions at center, I don't know. If you were to get 18 minutes out of Mohamed Bamba, you're basically screwed. You're basically in the doghouse. You're going to be playing catch up to everybody. I'm going to kind of spread out center because those other guys are coming in lower round. I can kind of go double the field on them, go half on Bamba, and have leverage existing throughout my lineup where I think there's just access to a higher ceiling.
Speaking of that power forward center position, Sabonis with no Miles Turner for the Pacers, 8,700 over on DraftKings, 9,100 over on FanDuel. Of course, you mentioned about Jonas in that game, but what's your thoughts on Sabonis as a potential play here tonight?
So we saw an absolute crazy first half from him against Orlando, and it basically just tempered off. I mean, he was destroying that slate early on. I like going back to him there. We kind of see the ceiling. 9,100 is still very, very gettable there. You take Miles Turner off the floor, that's a extra couple rebounds sitting right there. I really like going over the field on Domantas Sabonis, specifically on DraftKings, where he's 8,700. FanDuel, I'm a little bit less so because we've talked about you're getting such a discount on some of those other guys, but I wouldn't fault you whatsoever if you wanted to be going overweight in that spot.
Yeah, when you look at, why does I feel like every time I roster John Morant, it's just a bust for me?
Because John Morant he's having the sophomore slump. I mean, that's kind of what it is. And not only that, but Kyle Anderson has been good. Like watching some of those games, it's weird because Kyle Anderson at UCLA, I remember watching him and being like, everybody loves this guy. Like, I don't know, he just plays basketball so it's like watching glue a little bit. It's not the most fun brand of basketball, but he just is getting things done. He's taking enough away from John Morant in some of these spots that it just makes it more difficult. You don't see the kind of ceiling day in, day out that we saw last year out of John Morant, but now the price also has kind of adjusted to account for that. So 7K on FanDuel, fire it up. I don't think there needs to be any second thought about it. They also have an implied Vegas total sitting right around 119. I like going to John Morant for sure.
Of course, we are sponsored by No House Advantage, and speaking of John Morant, 18.5 for points. Over under on that one.
John Morant?
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't even have a link. What do I have him in for? I have him in, I can tell you in 2 seconds. Got him for 17.2. So I would be taking the under, but I'm probably not going to be betting it.
And of course, you can see it right there on the screen. Our No House Advanced projections, they are free on the site. And of course, be sure to download that app. Use the promo code AWESOME to receive a $20 first match deposit. Beat your friends, not the house there. And maybe if you want to look at John Morant, points plus rebounds, 22.5.
Oh, Alex Alex loves that. I'm seeing right now 20.19. That's beautiful. Okay, so that makes me even like Ja even a little bit more. And for me, it's looking right at 7.4 assists on the entire season for an average there. Again, Kyle Anderson cuts into a little bit of that production, but I mean, he's the boss man. He's the #1 player in the world for a reason. So I'm going to copy and paste, and we're going to aggregate these and put them together. Yeah, 7.4, so a little bit higher, 7.56 against Indiana. That makes a lot of sense. The points plus assists is definitely the spot to go. So on NHA, I mean, that's definitely going to be getting to like that 63%. I think that's like a good 3 or 4 point number for, so you basically have the point system where 10 for your most confident, and I think that would just be anything Kyle Lowry revolved right now. Now that he got ruled in, possibly people maybe won't click on that ahead of time, but if you sort it by the over column as well, if you want to do that for a second, over there, good old producer Jordan, you've got Kyle Lowry rebounds, which is the best bet on the entire board for an over, and 90.21 to go over. So 90% of the time he's going to hit that over on 3.5 rebounds. Smash that in the 10-point column.
Yeah, you got to check that out over at allstar.com. They're always free over there. No house advantage. By the way, as you mentioned, the news is now in. Kyle Lowry is available. Birch will also play. And then our starters from the Bucks are in. Holiday, DiVincenzo, Connington, Middleton, and Lopez. So kind of what we expected there when we heard the news that Giannis was going to be out there. I know there's a question about, Luka. We talked a little bit about Porzingis a little while ago. I like the price on Luka, where he's at on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm also, so you're talking about Zion, like Luka's the other guy that I just continue to be way over. 10-2, it's going to start happening, and that's going to be adjusting back up. I mean, we just kind of seen for Luka's standards a little bit of a lull here. Hasn't really busted through 51 fantasy points, and since he got hurt, basically, since he sat out those 2 games back to back at the end of March there, just kind of been a little bit more limited. They've been getting Porzingis involved, but they've been winning basketball games. That's really kind of been the key. They've won, I believe, 6 of their last 7, and that's kind of been the goal there. They haven't had to push Luka as hard here in some of these spots. Against San Antonio, I feel pretty good about this spot being way over the field on FanDuel with that number. And then still on DraftKings, because you do have that ability to slot him over at the small forward position, I think even at 11K, I'm going to be getting to some over there.
Mentioned a question over in our Slack. Lillard and Bamba, or Butler and Harden. So we haven't talked about that Miami game with Jimmy Butler. But what's your thoughts there for the question about Lillard and Bamba, or Butler and Harden?
I'm probably going the first one of that. Let me see, where's that at here? Yeah, I'm going to the first one of those two.
Yes. So we got Jimmy Butler, 9,000 on DraftKings. He's 9,300 on FanDuel.
Jimmy Butler's fascinating. Like Jimmy Butler, I constantly feel like because of the addition of some of these other pieces, like he's going to start taking over here again very, very soon. Let's see. Take it off with Oladipo is now off. There we are. Okay, so yeah, I mean, Jimmy Butler, I think, is actually going to grade out pretty darn well for me here as well. I haven't hit my crunch yet, so I'm going to hit that and just see how much I get to him there. I don't mind that as a play against Portland, but probably going to be leaning to the first one of those two.
We haven't touched much on the Bulls at all today. Zach LaVine, to me, look, he's going up against Minnesota's defense. Is there a better way to put it?
I think you got that covered. I think you did a good job. You said Minnesota and defense, and normally those two things don't go in the same sentence. That was pretty much the only surprising thing about that. But otherwise, Zach LaVine, yeah, go right ahead. Have fun. I have no problem being overweight. I've been overweight constantly there. He's way too cheap at 8,300 for this spot. On
E. McIntyre, we're talking about Vooch in that spot. We talked a little bit about center position just a moment ago. And I know Vooch wasn't one of the names that you looked at, but to me, he's always a guy we have to be looking at. It's just a matter of whether you can pay him for that price. 9,600 on FanDuel, 9,100 on DraftKings.
He's been good. I mean, offensively, from a fantasy perspective, he's had those ceiling games. He had a 64.25 outing on DraftKings against Indiana. It was. That was, 3 games ago? him and just going back and forth, him and Levine are going to each get their own. Like, it's going to be a back and forth type deal. I don't necessarily think you have to have a rule against them in the same lineup. I think organically, because they're both spend-up options, you're not going to get to them as much together as is. But I mean, it's Vooch getting Minnesota as well. I mean, it's kind of the same argument you could make there. It's not like Karl Anthony Towns imposes anybody on the defensive end by any means. I would say that I do like paying up for Towns a little bit more, going under 10%. I know 10-8 looks crazy on DraftKings, but I think there's enough value that exists on this slate to make that kind of a priority to be over the field. I'm just basically WWRD. What would Rinpack do? Rinpack would be over the field by Karl Anthony Towns.
We got a couple questions in Slack about Najee Marshall.
Yeah, he's in the starting lineup. I saw that. That was the one thing that I saw, and I'm waiting for that to adjust before I go too crazy chatting about that. But 4,300 over on FanDuel, there's really not a reason that you have to be doing that. Just I'm not going to be. I don't think that I'm going to be. I'm curious if anything changes for Alex's numbers with the fact that he was starting, which is what I believe I saw come through. Maybe I. Yeah. So Bledsoe, Marshall, Ingram, Williamson, Adams. So that would be the only reason you're basically saying, oh, I would expect him to play more than the 20 minutes that Alex hasn't paid for. 3,700 on DK is interesting. That might actually be something that I get to. I'm curious what those minutes will change into on the next run here. I'm going to refresh and see if we got anything new. But I had him in for 20 minutes. He's still somebody that was popping into about 4% on this first crunch that I just ran. But I think I'm going to be getting over probably quite a bit more of that at 3,700. I think that's a fine piece of value to get to. If there is a blowout, I would expect him to kind of be unaffected by it.
I mean, like Zion to me is a core play. I know you're going to agree with that, but to me, it's just a matter of how much is too much Cavs in your lineups.
I mean, I'm probably not going to have over 3 from a GPP's perspective. I mean, it's not like Bodger Thomas or Chetty Osman are guys that I'm expecting to be going for 30, 35 in this spot. I mean, Delhi kind of seems to be the main guy at 3,400 because he is cheaper down there. I will say it's not fun to be using a point guard spot on him when you now have Lowry over on FanDuel and you've got Luka Doncic you want to pay up for. I think that maybe is going to be a little bit different for me, but on DraftKings, 3,400 is pretty darn nifty. Turning Prince, I don't even have to think about, which is really nice. 5,100 over on DraftKings now, not even really a consideration. I think on FanDuel, you could probably get to 4 maybe, just because you're looking at Delhi at the min, Chetty 3,700, Okoro, who I don't know why you would want to necessarily be way over there, but like Torian Prince 6,400, Kevin Love 6,100. If we were to see him finally just like get those full allotment of minutes, but it's just not going to happen, I don't think, on a back-to-back, which is why I think he's grading out so poorly today. I would say 3 is the most I would want to be getting to.
We haven't talked any. We talked about the defense or the lack of defense that the T-Wolves like to play. Is there someone on that T-Wolves lineup that you're trying to get to a little bit more than the
Yes, so Towns is definitely the priority for me there. We played a little bit of Jaden McDaniels. That was a guy that I believe it was Steve Buzzard who brought up the other day. Just a guy who was playing massive minutes there. He had a string where he was playing well into the 30s, and now he played 44 minutes last time out. 43 and a half is what he played against Boston in that last game. I could get to a little bit of him there. D'Angelo Russell, I still want to see a little bit more. We're starting to see those minutes trend up. And he 32% usage against Boston as well. I think it's basically just going to be Towns for me, and that's going to kind of be the priority. I don't see myself getting to a ton of anybody else.
Speaking of centers, I don't know how much Enes Kanter you had last night. Hopefully you had a good amount of him.
No, I didn't. It was not fun. It was very, very unfun is what it was.
I remember last night, I was just going through the box scores, and when I pulled up the Trailblazer box score, I go, oh my. To get that amount of rebounds in a game is, I don't even know the right
30
word.
spot. 30 spot.
Yeah.
Well, it also requires some inaccuracies. It requires some bad shooting to a certain extent. Or you just have a magnet on your hands for that game. It was irrational. It was really not fun. I was actually out on a golf course, and I brought my laptop out there with me. I was out practicing. I have a tournament in like a week that I was getting ready for, so I took my laptop out, and it was kind of being difficult. The internet was being a little spotty, and I was like, you know what? I'll just take Canner. I'll take some of these other guys. I'll just kind of like, I'll make some pivots elsewhere. And then I looked at my phone afterwards, 0 winnings. I was like, that didn't go very well. That was some bad decision making. So let it be known, word to the wise, do not enter lineups when you're playing a golf course in the middle of nowhere and then have nowhere where you can like basically X them out. So I was kind of forced into playing, and it did not go well at all.
Yeah, I had a buddy hit me up yesterday afternoon. He was like, hey, you want to go WrestleMania? I'm like, sure, why not? And then, so I basically made, I'll go, I'm not playing any lines because I know I'm going to make a basketball
Wait, you
lineup.
went to WrestleMania?
Yeah.
What? You're
Yeah,
very delayed. Why didn't you say that at the top of the show? You went to the...
I was
You
there.
went to WrestleMania. How fun was that?
It was a blast. I mean, it wasn't, when it started raining at the beginning of it, wasn't necessarily the best thing. And I can tell you, it's been raining all day here in Tampa. So, whether or not they start that thing on time tonight, but no, it was fun. I have not watched professional wrestling in probably actively like 15 years. It was a good time. It was a fun time.
That's awesome. That is way cooler than anything I've done.
I will tell you this. Social distancing sports event is some of the best things.
Yeah,
You can just kind of, you got all the leg room you want. There's no like social stands. There's no lines, bathrooms. I'm telling you, we can stay to this.
Yeah, I got vaxxed. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see some things. I can go do some things.
Question over in our Slack account says thoughts on Portis not starting and D'Angelo Russell minutes.
30 would be the cap. I mean, I would say he's probably going to be playing 25, 26. Alex has him in for 26 and a half. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be tough to get to him at any level. 6,500, 500, he can be willing to take some shots there. 7,100 just isn't going to happen.
I know we've got a lot of Chetty Osman questions in there, and we've talked a lot about that value with the Cavs there. What's your overall thoughts of Chetty Osman as a placement?
So Chetty is somebody that I have been over like the field on multiple times this season. I think he's going to probably come in. I mean, we have to have like updated ownership here now. This last run, 335, he came in. Am I looking at this right on DK? He's 3%.
Let me pull it up here.
Okay, last run, 8.2%. There we go. That's more indicative. I like being overweight to that. I'm fine with being overweight to that for sure.
Of course, when you went on the latest DFS news, you got to follow us on all of our social media accounts, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We also have an Also Fan Facebook group where we do run exclusive giveaways on all of those platforms. So be sure to follow us for your chance to win some cool prizes that we have here. Also, of course, be sure to follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Another one over from Slack. Thoughts on Terrence Mann and Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson's not coming up. We did talk about Mann a little bit.
Yeah, so we covered Mann. I am generally over the field on Mann. I think Reggie Jackson definitely sees a bump here as well. 5,100. He's not like a priority for me over on DraftKings, but I think at 5,300, where you're playing 2 point guards, I think it makes sense as like a little bit of a ownership pivot there off of getting to some of these other guys that are going to be much higher owned. So I'm happy to get to some Reggie Jackson for sure.
Some news from the Mavericks. Coach Carlisle says
I don't know if they was family members or what the fuck, but they was like 2 boys and some girls.
Okay. I mean, that really doesn't change a whole lot.
Instead of her ordering her own
I
food,
wasn't
she
going to get to
whispered to
either
the
one of
dude
them
and he
in
ordered
this
the
situation. Maxie, I guess he gets a little bit more of that run. I wouldn't see Cauley Stein get kind of run clean wood, but
Damn.
I don't think that's going to change anything.
He tried to take this the same. They tried
mentioned
to take my
kind of
one
talk
of
about this a
the
little
dudes
bit over
that
chat.
just
Why
ordered
would you
fries
trade
on
Kevin
top of
Love
that.
for
And then I
Sexton
heard it
Carl?
order.
You mentioned the odds of the back-to-back Kevin Love, whether or not
Then he
we'll
come
see
over.
that.
I wasn't listening to a double watch
Yeah,
him.
it's just a little bit of an unknown.
But
and
I could tell he was trying to be funny, like maybe I took it or something. Bitch, it's the same bag. I don't want no fucking double whoppers, sweetie.
And it might even be.
I'm not the one just ordering fries.
Upside, I think that there's more of a chance that he plays less
trying to take somebody else's food.
getting exceeded to like 28, 29. So when you're talking about a guy like him,
and I know you clearly heard him say Brianna because he said it twice. And nigga, unless you was a little deaf or something. Because then I'm way across over here and I heard him. I wasn't trying to be close to nobody. Especially they little weird ass. She's over there whispering. I know she was probably talking about me. Oh, bitch, sit your Amazon over there. You couldn't wear this if you wanted to. You look stupid. Oh, and stop worrying about me and mine, and my cellulite and my ass, whatever the fuck I'm doing, bitch. Worry about yourself. Who makes his own self do it? Well, what's up with you? Why is something fucked up? Those drugs you been on. Hey, I don't know what you're going through, but it's hot in here. This fell out. It was attached to them. Okay. So on the floor. Lock the door. I think I locked the door.
What? No. Yeah. What's up, bro?
What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? What? Hey! What's that? What you wanna do, nigga? What you barking at? Yeah. What you wanna do? What's up? What's up? What's up? You say you want some attention? Yeah, put it down. Put it down. You say you mad? You ain't get no burger? You ain't get no whopper for you, boy? Yeah, that would have took an extra 30 minutes. Hey, fucking. When I tell you it was ample people in there, that's why McDonald's hired Spanish people. It was all white people and only one black dude. Oh, hi, cutie. Yeah. See? Look how big it is. It's just cute. Right.
All elevated. Whoa, whoa.
You almost at it.
Bitch, nigga.
They ain't roll up.
Mm-mm.
Oh my god.
Alright, I'm gonna roll the vibe though.
You will not let it go.
It's sight. It's on sight. It's on sight, nigga.
I can't get it from him. Oh, I heard it. Let it go. Look at him, man. Like that shit in Pluto. You so cute.
My dog when he came from like
there.
hey. What is your problem, bro?
And my first one starts shit.
You all on me with your fat ass, bro.
Touched them before you rolled it. Yeah.
I'll be lying on us. You ain't lying. I'm just straight up.
That shit's so
Hey!
Good job, little baby. Good job. Leave him alone. He did it to me.
You get too lickety. You get too lickety. You don't have to bust your head. Lickety. You don't even want to fight no more. You just want to get pet. We love it. Leg kicking and all that shit. Yeah, leg click, nose.
Run it. Yeah.
What?
I said run it.
I'll play a few, that's it.
There's some hot water in the refrigerator. Ow, man.
Jumping on me crazy.
Wow. Pluto, be nice. Hey Google, turn smart light 1 on. Hey Google, turn smart light 2 on. Pluto! Stop! I didn't tell you to jump on me. Get your bone over here.
You gave it to me, I didn't give it to Colleen. You just didn't get it right. Colleen, thank you.
Colleen's doing great.
That's pretty amazing.
Coming up a little later on tonight, we also have a day-night doubleheader going on here on NBA TV. A little later on tonight, a special Sunday edition of Center Court, 10 o'clock Eastern. We will have
Take it one sip and leave it rest.
I take 4. 2 games in the books.
Get off a little higher.
It gets a little dirty after going on NBA TV. Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets have won in a row, taking on the Celtics. Let's pick this one up in the third quarter. Nikola Jokic gets a layup and one. Another triple-double, GA, 17-11.
Another triple-double, GA.